Meteorologist Matthew East here with you. April the 1st here on this edition of the Carolina Weather Video, and warm weather, our big weather story here as we head on into the Easter weekend. In fact, many of us are going to be nearing record high temperatures. If not today, then I think a lot of records could wind up being tied or broken around the region tomorrow on Good Friday. Let me show you how it looks this morning. This is the radar across the lower 48, and you get, say, east of the Plain States, and there is just simply nothing on the radar. Only some ground clutter around a lot of the NEXRAD sites, but no rain at all anywhere, say, east of that line right there. And that's where our next system is, back in the Rocky Mountain region. Look at the temperatures ahead of that next cold front. Really very, very mild. These are the 4 a.m. Eastern time temperatures, 3 a.m. Central, and you're looking at all these 60s for temperatures in the southern plains and the lower Mississippi Valley. 50s and 40s here around our neck of the woods. All right, now where the temperatures are so warm, there is this very well-established southerly flow. That is ahead of a cold front that's right through that region there. Actually, it's more back in there, but either way, back in the Rocky Mountain region is the next cold front. But look at the upper air pattern. This is actually the 500 millibar chart valid at 2 a.m. tomorrow on Friday morning, and a very high amplitude ridge in the eastern part of the country. So while there's a pretty good trough back here in the Rockies, what's going to happen is because of that ridge, it gets sent up into Canada. And the main upper level energy will stay well to our north. So all we will wind up with is a fizzling cold front that moves through this weekend. All right, the GFS. Here we go, 2 o'clock this afternoon. The main feature of note across the southeast is this big area of high pressure. It's keeping us high and dry. It looks like a lot of us today will wind up into the low to mid 80s, even mid to a few upper 80s creeping in a few spots. Either way you look at it, 80s for highs today with a sunny sky. Tomorrow, probably the warmest day of this warm stretch. I think a lot of us could wind up toward the upper 80s, at least mid to upper 80s for highs tomorrow. And again, many of us will make a run at record high temperatures on one or both days. Now, as we go into the Easter weekend itself, this is Saturday. It's like some showers and a few thunderstorms will move through the Mississippi Valley into the Tennessee Valley. But notice this parent low pressure. Remember I showed you that upper air chart? Well, there's the actual surface low at 2 o'clock in the afternoon Saturday. Let's go out 24 hours later, and that low pressure is all the way up into Canada. So there's just simply no upper level support for this next cold front. The main low, the main surface low in Canada, the upper level energy up into Canada as well. So all we wind up with is, yes, a cold front moving in Saturday, but all we'll really get out of it is some cloud cover. Looks like just simply not enough support for any rain with that frontal passage. And so we'll wind up with probably lower 80s for a lot of our highs Saturday. And then for Easter Sunday here, let's see. This is Sunday, Easter Sunday. I didn't actually have Saturday's chart on there, but oh, there it is. Okay, there, yeah, this is Saturday's chart. Sorry. Saturday's chart there. Here's Sunday. And for Easter Sunday, we end up with a dry day, probably some upper 70s for highs in many spots to around 80. And then we're right back up into the lower 80s Monday. And Tuesday, another well-established southwesterly flow, so maybe mid to upper 80s in some spots again Tuesday afternoon. Now, then it gets a little more tricky. The GFS actually brings another cold front through Wednesday, and it gets chillier around here on the GFS by Thursday. A lot of model disagreement with when that next front next week moves through. This is the GFS, and what we're looking at is 8 p.m. Thursday of next week, so about a week from now. GFS has a pretty decent trough in the eastern part of the country, ridging in the nation's midsection. Compare that to the European, same exact time frame, trough in the plains, ridge still in the east. It eventually gets the trough here, but it's just slower with it. So the timing is still in question, but I do think as we get deeper into next week, we'll see a pretty decent cold front move through, and it will eventually, by the end of next week, get into some cooler air here across the eastern part of the country. But exactly when that takes place, a bit uncertain. For this morning's forecast package, I mentioned a shower, say, from late Wednesday to Thursday, and probably by next Thursday we'll begin to feel at least some of that cooler air. If not by Thursday, then by Friday of next week. Again, that's a week from now, though. All right, that's it for today's edition of the Carolina Weather Video. A lot of folks are going to be traveling around here for the Easter weekend. The mountains, the beach, all look great this weekend. No problems at all. I suppose in the mountains I can't rule out a shower with that front early Saturday-ish, but even there, not going to be a big deal. All right, that's it for today's edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.